Hey guys, and welcome back to our Gap Grace Point Online series. This is episode 3 of our Covered series, where we look at what it means for us to be covered, for us to know what we need in order to be safe, but also know that God covers us and helps us keep safe. Remember that this series is a little bit different from everything that we've done this year, as we see what God wants us to know about being safe and Him keeping us safe, but also the practical ways we can learn to see when we're feeling safe and what we can do about it. And so today we look at something called the safety continuum. This is episode 3. Last week we spoke about something called early warning signs, and that's our body's way of telling us that we're not feeling safe. Now today we build on that and we have a look at what happens when we have our early warning signs, yet there are 3 other important things that we need to be able to see that we have in order for us to know that we are safe, feeling unsafe, fun to feel scared, or scared on purpose. That's the safety continuum. Safe, fun to feel scared, scared on purpose, or unsafe. Let's see what it means and what these 3 components are for us to know where we are on the safety continuum. The first thing we need to know about is choice. Choice is when we say, yes, I want to do something, or we have an option to do it or not to do it. The second thing is control. It might be something scary that we have to do, but we still have the ability to stop it. That's what control is. And the third thing is time limit. Do we know how long it's going to take, or can we see the end of how long it's going to be? It's that we know this is when we'll start and this is when we'll end, and we know the time in between. So we might be doing something scary, but we know it won't last forever. Eventually it'll stop. So when we're feeling safe, we have no early warning signs, we have choice, control, and a time limit. When we feel fun to feel scared, we might have early warning signs, but we have choice, control, and a time limit. When we're scared on purpose or risking on purpose, we have early warning signs, we have choice, we have control, and we have a time limit. But it might be something that's not so much fun to do, but we want the outcome at the end. For example, writing an exam. You might feel your early warning signs. Because you're nervous and feeling a little bit unsure, your body's way of telling you you're not feeling safe, but you have choice, you have control, and you have a time limit. At the end of the day, you know that it's something that you need to do in order to get the result that you have to get in order to pass your grade. And the last one is unsafe. Here we definitely have our early warning signs. We have little or no choice, little or no control, and little or no time limit. And so we know that's a red flag. We are unsafe. We're feeling unsafe. Remember that last week when we looked at the early warning signs, we looked at 2 characters from the Bible and 2 situations in the Bible where we could see that people would have their early warning signs. It might not physically be written into the text of the Bible, but we could see that these are times where they would experience their early warning signs, such as jelly knees, a rapidly beating heart, shaking hands, a headache, wide hands, and there's many other early warning signs. Today we look at the same story from 1 Samuel 17. Remember, that's a story about this giant guy called Goliath, and how he used to taunt and tease the Israelites and pretend that he would be able to overcome them. He probably could, because he was quite tall and quite big and quite strong. But they had a secret weapon. This was a guy called David. He wasn't really big, he wasn't really strong, but he believed that God could help him overcome. As David was preparing for this battle, the king wanted to give him his armor and his sword. David tried them on and realized they were way too big and this was not going to work. So instead he went into battle with a slingshot and a couple of smooth stones. And then he went to face the giant. Imagine how he felt standing there in front of this giant man. Do you think he felt some early warning signs? Let's see where he was on the safety continuum. Was he feeling safe, fun to feel scared, risking on purpose, or scared on purpose, or unsafe? Did he have choice, control, and a time limit? I think he was scared on purpose or risking on purpose because yes, he had a choice, he had control, and he had a time limit, but there were some early warning signs. It might not have been fun for him to do it, but at the end of the day, he knew he had to do it in order for his people, the Israelites, to feel safe again. Luckily for David, God was with him like he always is with us. And so he overcame this giant and they were safe again. But we can see through the story that he was on the risking on purpose part of the safety continuum. Then we can look at Daniel 6, the same story that we spoke about in the Stand Up series, as well as last week. We see how Daniel got thrown into the lion's den. But before we talk about the lion's den, remember that the advisors of the king tricked him into throwing Daniel into the lion's den because he said that because he said that no one should worship anyone or any god besides that king. Daniel was a faithful man and he continued praying regularly like he did every day. And so imagine in that time between him praying and the time between him getting thrown into the lion's den, how he was feeling. Where was he on the safety continuum? I think he was probably feeling safe. How do I see this? He probably had no early warning signs because he was doing what he normally did by praying. He had choice. It was something he wanted to do. He had control and he had a time limit. But later in the story, we can see that there was another point that he's on the safety continuum. When he was in the lion's den, imagine before he realized that God was with him, he was just thrown into the lion's den. He saw all the lions around him. They probably looked quite hungry. Where do you think he was on the safety continuum? Did he have choice, control, and a time limit? And was there early warning signs? I'm sure he had lots of early warning signs, seeing all these hungry lions. He didn't have choice. He didn't have control. They had sealed the lion's den, and there was no time limit. And so he must have felt quite unsafe, or he was risking on purpose to show people. Later, when he was rescued, I think it became risking on purpose because his risk showed people that God was big and mighty and cared for the people who were faithful to him. But I think at that point, he probably felt quite unsafe. And so that's the checklist that we can use when we want to figure out where we are on the safety continuum so that we know that we're feeling safe, fun to feel scared, risking or scared on purpose, or unsafe. Are there early warning signs? Do I have choice, control, and a time limit? And is this something I need to do to get the outcome, or is it something fun to do? So there's two things that we need to learn today. Remember that early warning signs are our body's way of showing us that we're not or we are feeling safe. We need to remember those because they help us see where we are in the safety continuum as well. The second thing is that we need to look at choice, control, and time limit. Choice is yes or no, I want to do it. Control, I can stop it at any point. And a time limit is that I know how long it's going to take or that it will end eventually. Our catchphrase for today: the safety continuum. Safe, fun to feel scared, risking or scared on purpose, and unsafe. Those are the most important things that you need to remember for today's lesson. Remember that below in the comments, there is a link for you to do a worksheet and an activity to help you remember what we learned today and how you can apply it to your life. That's it from us here today at Gap Grace Point Online. Bye, guys.